Welcome back to Automate Office Work. I'm your host, Justin. Today's episode is Structuring Data. Picture this. You're searching through your emails for that vendor quote from 3 months ago. You check your downloads folder, 47 files named invoice.pdf, invoice1.pdf, final invoice v2.pdf. You open your shared drive and find folders named miscellaneous, old stuff, and John's files. Sound familiar? Now imagine a different world. You type Anderson vendor quote March, and instantly the exact document appears. Your expense reports autofill from receipt photos. Your client database updates itself. Sales forecasts generate with a click. The difference? Structured data. Today we're talking about the single most important skill for office automation, one that most people have never heard of. By the end of this episode, you'll see your entire workspace differently. You'll understand why some tasks take hours while others take seconds, and more importantly, how to design your work so that automation becomes almost effortless. Welcome to Automate Office Work. I'm your host, and this is Structuring Data, the foundation of everything. Segment 1. What is structured data? Let's start with a simple question. What is data? Data is just information. An email is data. A receipt is data. A post-it note on your monitor is data. But here's what most people don't realize. Not all data is created equal. Think about a filing cabinet. If you throw papers in randomly, you have data. But if you used labeled folders, alphabetized tabs, and a consistent system, you have structured data. The information is the same, but one is usable and one is chaos. Structured data means information organized in a predictable, consistent format that both humans and computers can easily understand and process. Let me give you a real example. Here's unstructured data. Hey Sarah, I met with Acme Core yesterday. They want 500 units by March 15th. Budget is around $50K, maybe flexible. Call me to discuss. Now here's structured data from that same information. Client name, Acme Core. Contact, Sarah Johnson. Meeting date, 2024-02-20. Order quantity, 500. Delivery date, 2024-03-15. Budget, $50,000. Status, pending discussion. Notice the difference? The structured version has 1. Consistent fields. Every order has the same categories. 2. Clear labels. You know what each piece means. 3. Standardized formats. Dates look like dates. Money looks like money. 4. Completeness. No missing information. 5. Searchability. You could find this by client, date, budget range, or any other field. The unstructured version might feel more natural to write, but imagine you have 500 of these conversations. How do you find all orders over $40,000? How do you see what's due in March? How do you track which clients are maybe flexible versus firm on budget? You can't. Not without reading every single message. Structured data is like building with Lego bricks instead of clay. Each piece has a defined shape and connects in predictable ways. You can build, rebuild, sort, count, and automate with confidence. Segment 2, structured versus unstructured data. Let's dig deeper into this distinction because it's absolutely fundamental to everything we'll discuss today. Unstructured data is information without a predetermined organization. Think email bodies, PDFs with paragraphs of text, Word documents, Slack conversations, handwritten notes photographed, audio recordings, random text files. Structured data has a clear schema, a blueprint. Think spreadsheets with defined columns, database tables, forms with specific fields, calendar entries, always have date, time, title, location, contact lists, always have name, phone, email. Here's a perfect example from real office life. Let's say you're tracking employee time off. The unstructured way. People email their manager. Hi, I'd like to take vacation December 20th through the 27th. Another person says, taking a sick day tomorrow. Another says, I'll be out next Monday and Tuesday for personal reasons. You've got dates buried in text, different formats. some with years, some without. Some say vacation, others say PTO, others say nothing. Half are in email threads, a quarter are in Slack, the rest are verbal conversations you have to remember to note down. The structured way. You implement a simple form or spreadsheet. Employee name, drop down. Leave type, a drop down with the options vacation, sick, personal, other. Start date with a date picker. End date with a date picker. Status with a drop down. Options are pending, approved, denied. Manager with a drop down. Now instantly you can see who's out on any given day, calculate remaining vacation balances, generate monthly reports, identify patterns. Are sick days clustered on Mondays? Set up automatic approvals for certain conditions, block out calendar conflicts, ensure coverage for critical roles. Same information, radically different usability. Here's the key insight. Unstructured data requires human interpretation. Structured data enables machine processing. When you hear AI can read PDFs now, what's actually happening is AI is trying to extract structure from unstructured data. It's doing the tedious work of saying, okay, this number after the dollar sign is probably the price, and this 10-digit number is probably a phone number. But why make AI do that work? Expensively, slowly, and with occasional errors, when you could just structure it properly from the start. Segment 3. Why structured data matters for automation. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most automation fails not because the tools don't work, but because the data is a mess. Think about it. You've probably tried to set up some automation and hit a wall. Maybe you wanted to auto-generate reports, but your sales team enters client names 15 different ways. Maybe you tried to sync your project management tool with your accounting software, but the category names don't match. Maybe you wanted to analyze customer feedback, but half is in emails, a quarter is in a Google Doc, and the rest is scattered across Slack threads. The automation tool itself works fine. Your data is the problem. Let me share a real story. I worked with a marketing agency that spent $3,000 on an automation platform. They wanted to auto-assign leads to salespeople based on company size, industry, and location. Sounds simple, right? Here's what their lead data looked like. Company size, small with a capital S, small with all small letters, small in all capitalized letters, SM, 10-50, startup, a few people, growing, or blank. For industry, they had data like tech, technology, software, SaaS, IT, computers, or just a paragraph describing what the company does. For location, they had USA, United States, US, New York, NY, NYC, New York City, state abbreviations, full country names, sometimes just remote. The automation couldn't work. It needs to know if small equals 10-50. It needs to know if tech and software should be treated the same. It needs consistent location formats to assign regional salespeople. They had two choices. 1, spend weeks cleaning years of messy data. Or 2, implement a structured intake process going forward. They did both. They created a lead form with company size, with drop-down, with options 1 to 10, 11 to 50, 51 to 200, 201 to 1,000, and 1,000 plus. For industry, they had a drop-down with options SaaS, e-commerce, manufacturing, healthcare, financial services, other. For country, they had a drop-down with standard country list. And for state/region, they had a drop-down that appears based on the country. Within 2 weeks, new leads flowed perfectly into their automation. 6 months later, after gradually cleaning the old data, their entire system hummed along flawlessly. The lesson? Automation is downstream of data structure. If you want to auto-generate reports, you need consistent data fields. If you want to create dashboards, you need reliable numbers in predictable places. If you want to set up notifications, you need clear triggers and conditions. If you want to sync between tools, you need matching schemas. If you want to use AI effectively, you need well-organized inputs. Structure isn't a luxury, it's the foundation. Segment 4, the history of structured data. Structured data isn't new. Humans have been organizing information for thousands of years. Ancient libraries, 3000 BCE to 500 CE. The Library of Alexandria didn't just pile scrolls randomly. librarians created catalogs, early databases, organizing works by author, subject, and title. This was structured data, consistent fields that made knowledge retrievable. Double entry bookkeeping, 1494. When Luca Pacioli documented double entry accounting, he created one of the most important data structures in history. Every transaction has two entries, a debit and a credit. This structure made it possible to track financial health, detect errors, and scale businesses. The Medici Bank's dominance came partly from superior data structure. Filing cabinets and card catalogs, 1800s. The Dewey Decimal System transformed libraries. By imposing structure, every book gets a number based on subject. Anyone could find any book without memorizing the entire collection. Businesses adopted similar filing systems. Structure became standardization. Punch cards, 1890. Herman Hollerith's tabulating machine for the 1890 U.S. Census was revolutionary. Instead of tallying census responses by hand, which previously took 8 years, punch cards encoded data in a structured format that machines could read. The 1890 census was completed in 18 months. This was the birth of automated data processing. Databases, 1960s to 1970s. Edgar Codd introduced the relational database model in 1970. Instead of hierarchical systems, he proposed tables with rows and columns that could relate to each other. This is still how most business data is stored today. Customer table relates to orders table, relates to products table. Spreadsheets, 1979. VisiCalc, the first spreadsheet software, democratized structured data. Suddenly anyone could create rows and columns, not just database administrators. Lotus 123 and then Excel made structured data accessible to every office worker. The Internet age, 1990s to 2000s. HTML structured web content. XML structured data exchange. JSON made it human readable. APIs allowed systems to share structured data. The internet only works because we agreed on data structures. Big data and cloud, 2010s. As data volume exploded, structure became even more critical. Hadoop, data warehouses, cloud databases, all built on sophisticated data structures designed for massive scale. AI era, 2020s. Here's the irony. AI is incredibly powerful, but it works best with structured data. Machine learning models train on structured data sets. Large language models are amazing at generating and understanding unstructured text, but when you want reliable, consistent outputs, you need structure. The through line, every major leap in productivity came from better data structure, not just better tools. Segment 5, common data structures in today's workplace. Let's get practical. What are the data structures you encounter every single day, probably without realizing it? 1. Spreadsheets/tables. The most universal structure. Rows represent records, individual items. Columns represent attributes, characteristics of those items. Example, customer list. Each row equals one customer. Columns are name, email, phone, company, last purchase date, total spent. When it works, perfect for lists, tracking, simple calculations. When it breaks, when people merge cells, use spreadsheets like word processors, or create different structures in different sheets. 2. Databases. Like spreadsheets on steroids, multiple related tables that connect through key fields. Example, e-commerce system. A customer's table has fields customer ID, name, and email. An orders table has fields order ID, customer ID, order date, total. A products table has fields product ID, name, price. And an order items table has fields that connect orders to products. The power? No duplication. Update a customer's email once and it updates everywhere. 3. Forms. The data entry point. Good forms create good structure. Example, IT help desk ticket. The requester is a person's name. The department is a dropdown. The issue type is a dropdown with options hardware, software, network, other. Priority is a dropdown with options low, medium, high, and critical. And description is a text area. Forms force structure at the source, preventing garbage data. 4. Calendar systems. Highly structured, time-based data. Every calendar entry has a title, a start date/time, an end date/time, a location, attendees, recurrence pattern if applicable. This structure is why calendar tools can find meeting slots, send reminders, and check availability. 5. CRM systems, customer relationship management. Structured to track every customer interaction. Standard fields, contact information like name, email, phone, company, the lead source, how they found you, the lead status, new, contacted, qualified, opportunity, customer, the deal value, activities, emails sent, calls made, meetings held. Number 6, project management tools. Structured around tasks and workflows. Every task has a title, a description, an assignee, a due date, a status, like to do, in progress, or done, a priority, and dependencies. 7. File naming conventions. Yes, even file names can be structured. Unstructured examples are report.docx, report_final.docx, report_final_actual.docx. Structured examples are 2024-03-15-sales-report_v1.docx. This contains the date in the format of YYYY for sortability. It includes the project/topic, includes the version, and it has consistent separators. Number 8, JSON, JavaScript Object Notation. Now this one might sound technical, but stay with me. You're probably using JSON every single day without knowing it. JSON is how computers talk to each other. It's a structured format for exchanging data between ecosystems. Think of JSON as a universal translator. When your email app talks to your calendar, when your phone syncs with the cloud, when websites load data, JSON is often the language they're speaking. Here's what it looks like. It opens with a curly bracket, and then in quotation marks, it says customer_name, colon, and then in quotation marks, Sarah Johnson. And we have several of these name value pairs, like email is sarah@acmecore.com, company is Acme Core, order date is 2024-03 for March and 15. And then there's a list of items. It says items in quotation marks, colon, and then there's a square bracket to contain a list of things. And then each item here has a beginning, and it begins and ends with a curly bracket with commas between the items. And then each item has its own key value pairs, like product is widget A, quantity is 50, price is 25. And another item, it says product widget B, quantity 30, price 35. And after this set of items is the last key value pair, which is total and 2,300. Notice anything? It's incredibly readable. Even without technical training, you can see customer name is Sarah Johnson. She ordered 2 products. Total is $2,300. JSON uses simple rules. Information is in label, value pairs. Curly braces group related information. Square brackets hold lists, and commas separate items. Why should you care about JSON as an office worker? When APIs come up, you might hear our CRM has an API, or we can connect these tools via API. What's actually happening? The systems are exchanging JSON. Understanding JSON helps you understand what's possible when exporting data. Many tools offer export as JSON. This gives you structured data you can import into other systems. It's like getting a perfectly organized filing cabinet instead of a pile of papers. When no-code tools ask, Zapier, Make, and other automation platforms often show you JSON when setting up connections. You don't need to write it, but reading it helps you troubleshoot. Oh, the customer email is stored in this field, so I need to map it here. when talking to developers. If you're working with your IT team and say, can we pull the customer name, order date, and total from the system? They're thinking in JSON. Understanding the basics helps you communicate what you need. Real example. Let's say you want to automate sending customer data from your order system to your shipping provider. Without understanding JSON, you'd say, can you send them the customer info? With basic JSON knowledge, you'd say, we need to send customer underscore name, shipping underscore address, order underscore items with quantities, and delivery underscore date. The shipping API expects it in JSON format. Much clearer, much more likely to get what you need. The beautiful thing about JSON, it's structured data you can see and understand. Unlike a database table where data is locked away, JSON is human readable text. You can open it in any text editor, email it to someone, copy and paste it, understand what it contains. When you'll encounter JSON, setting up integrations between tools, working with web developers, exporting data for analysis, using automation platforms, requesting data from APIs, and configuring webhooks. You don't need to become a JSON expert, but knowing it exists and what it looks like, that makes you more capable of connecting systems, requesting features, and understanding what's possible. The bottom line, JSON is just structured data in a format computers love. It's the backbone of modern software communication. And now when someone mentions it, you'll know exactly what they're talking about and why it matters. The pattern. Every effective system in your office uses structured data. The ones that frustrate you, usually unstructured chaos. Segment 6. How data becomes unstructured. If structure is so valuable, why is so much workplace data a mess? Let me tell you about the path of least resistance problem. Scenario 1, the quick email. You need to tell your team about a client deliverable. The structured way is to update your project management tool. Fill in the task name, assignee, due date, notes. That takes 90 seconds and 3 clicks. Or you fire off an email. Hey team, get the Johnson report done by Friday. Takes 10 seconds. Email sent, problem solved, right? Wrong. Now that information lives in someone's inbox. It won't appear on the project dashboard, won't generate a reminder, won't show up in capacity planning, won't be visible to anyone who wasn't on that email chain. And when Friday comes and the report isn't done, there's no clear record of who was responsible. Scenario 2, the one-off exception. Your expense tracking spreadsheet has clear categories. Travel, meals, lodging, supplies. But then someone has an expense that doesn't fit neatly. Instead of asking how to categorize it, they create a new category. Miscellaneous conference stuff. Next person sees that and thinks, it's fine to make up categories. Soon you have MISC, other, random, stuff, things, IDK, ask manager. Your structure collapsed because of one exception handled badly. Scenario 3. The temporarily empty field. A form requires customer industry, but a salesperson is in a rush and doesn't know it yet. They type TBD or unknown or will ask later. TBD never gets updated. Now your industry reports are meaningless. Your automation that assigns accounts by industry breaks. 6 months later, you have 200 customers marked TBD. Scenario 4, the personal system. Someone creates their own tracking system that works brilliantly for them. They use abbreviations only they understand. They organize by mental categories that make sense in their head. They never document it. Then they leave the company or go on vacation and nobody can decipher it. Common causes of data chaos. 1. No clear owner. Nobody is responsible for data quality. 2. No training. People don't understand why structure matters. 3. Convenience over consistency. Quick and dirty wins over proper entry. 4. System fragmentation. Data lives in 12 different tools. 5. No validation. Systems accept any input without checking. 6. Legacy data. Old, messy data contaminates new systems. 7. Workarounds. Official process is clunky, so people improvise. 8. No consequences. Messy data doesn't hurt the person who created it. The result: death by 1,000 small compromises. Each individual instance seems harmless. Collectively, they destroy your ability to automate, analyze, or operate efficiently. Segment 7, designing processes for clean data. Okay, so how do we prevent the chaos? How do we design processes that naturally create clean, structured data? Principle 1, make the right thing the easy thing. People will take the path of least resistance, so make structured data entry the easiest path. Bad, email your manager with expense details and they'll update the tracking sheet. Good, submit this 5-field form. Takes 30 seconds. Auto-approved under $50. The form is faster than writing an email, and it creates perfect structure. Principle 2, constrain inputs. Free text is the enemy of structure. Instead of enter customer company size with an open text field, use select customer company size with a drop-down. Options 1 through 10, 11 through 50, 51 through 200, 201 through 1000, and 1000 plus. Instead of type the project status with an open text field, use select project status, buttons not started, in progress, blocked, complete. Drop-downs, radio buttons, checkboxes, date pickers. These force structure. Principle 3, validate at entry. Don't let bad data in. Email fields should only accept valid email formats. Date fields should only accept real dates. Phone numbers should follow a standard format. Required fields should actually be required. No submitting until complete. Principle 4, provide context and examples. If you must use free text, show people what good looks like. Instead of description and then a blank, use description, brief summary of the issue. Example, monitor 2 shows vertical lines and flickers intermittently. Principle 5, close the loop. Show people why their data entry matters. Great! Your expense will appear on your reimbursement report and the finance team has been notified. When people see their structured input creates useful outputs, they're more likely to maintain standards. Principle 6, design for the least trained person. Your system should work even if someone's first day, distracted or not tech savvy. Use clear labels, avoid jargon and abbreviations, make errors obvious with immediate feedback, provide help text and tooltips. Principle 7, one source of truth. Every piece of information should live in exactly one place. Don't have customer info in both your CRM and a separate spreadsheet. Don't have project deadlines in both your project tool and a shared calendar. Pick one system, make it authoritative, and sync everything else to it. Principle 8, automate structure enforcement. Use technology to prevent manual mistakes. Set up required fields. Use formulas to auto-calculate dependent values. Create autofill based on previous entries. Build in data validation rules. Set up automatic formatting. Real-world example, transforming sales lead intake. Before, leads came from email, web form, trade shows, referrals. Sales reps manually entered info into a spreadsheet. Everyone used different formats. Half the fields were often blank. No way to track lead source or status reliability. After, all lead sources feed into one form. Web form, email to form, manual entry. Required fields are name, company, email, phone, lead source with a drop-down. Recommended fields of company size with a drop-down, industry with a drop-down, estimated budget with ranges, auto assignment based on territory, auto notification to assigned rep, status automatically set to new, all entries time-stamped and logged. Result, lead response time cut in half. Could track which sources generated best customers. Sales manager could see pipeline at a glance. Automated follow-up sequences. Forecast accuracy improved 40%. Same information, just structured properly. Segment 8, structured data and AI. Now let's talk about AI, because this is where structured data becomes absolutely critical. You've heard the hype. AI can read documents. AI can understand unstructured data. AI eliminates the need for databases. Here's what they're not telling you. AI is expensive, slow, and probabilistic when working with unstructured data. It's cheap, fast, and deterministic with structured data. Let me explain what that means. Scenario 1, extracting invoice data. Unstructured approach. You have 500 PDF invoices. You feed them to an AI. Extract the vendor name, invoice number, date, total, and line items. AI processes each one. Costs money per invoice. Takes 10 to 30 seconds per invoice. Accuracy, 95%, meaning 25 invoices have errors you need to catch. If invoice format changes, AI might struggle. Every invoice costs money to process. Structured approach. Your vendors submit invoices through a web form. Form has fields. Vendor name with a drop-down of approved vendors. Invoice number. Date with a date picker. Line items with a table with fields for description, quantity, unit price. The total auto-calculates. Data arrives already structured in your database. Cost, essentially zero. Time, instant. Accuracy, 100% with validation rules. The AI isn't magic. It's just doing the tedious work of creating structure from chaos, work you could eliminate by capturing structure in the first place. Scenario 2, analyzing customer feedback. Unstructured approach. 1,000 customer emails and survey responses. AI reads through, categorize feedback into product quality, customer service, pricing, shipping, website usability. AI makes judgment calls on ambiguous feedback, expensive to process, hard to track trends over time consistently. Results vary if you change the AI prompt. Structured approach. Customer feedback form with what was your interaction about, with a drop-down, product quality, customer service, pricing, shipping, website. How satisfied were you? A 1 to 5 scale. What could we improve? Text. Instantly sortable and filterable, can graph trends over time precisely, can drill into specific issue types. AI can then add value by analyzing the what could we improve text, not redoing the categorization. What AI excels at with structured data. 1. Generating content from structured inputs. Input structured customer data like name, purchase history, preferences. Output personalized email campaigns. 2. Making predictions from structured data sets. Input structured sales data like date, product, quantity, price, region, season. Output next quarter forecast. 3. Anomaly detection. Input structured transaction data. Output flagging unusual patterns that might indicate fraud. 4. Classification of new items. Input structured product catalog with categories. Output categorizing new products based on specifications. 5. Recommendations. Input structured user behavior like clicks, purchases, time spent. Output customers like you also bought ... The pattern. AI adds the most value when it's analyzing, predicting, or generating, not when it's trying to figure out what your data means in the first place. Think of it this way. Would you rather AI spend its time extracting structure from messy PDFs or analyzing clean data to find insights? The cost reality. Using AI to structure unstructured data. Per API call costs. Processing time. Need to verify accuracy. Ongoing cost for every new item. Capturing structured data up front, there's a one-time setup cost, no per item cost, perfect accuracy, and instantly usable. For a company processing 10,000 invoices per year, AI extraction, the cost is approximately $5,000 to $15,000 per year, plus staff time to fix errors. With structured intake, the cost is $0 after initial form setup. Segment 9, thinking in structured data. Here's where things get really interesting. Once you start seeing the world through a structured data lens, your entire approach to work changes. Let me share some examples of this mindset shift. Example 1, meeting notes. Most people take meeting notes like this. Met with Johnson about Q3 campaign. They want to focus on social media. Budget concerns but seem interested. Need to follow up on the creative brief. Bob will check with legal about the claims. Someone thinking in structured data would capture meeting metadata. Date 2024-03-15. Client Johnson Core. Attendees Sarah, us, Mike Johnson, the client, and Bob, our team. Topic Q3 marketing campaign. Discussion points. Focus social media strategy. Status Interested but budget concerns. Next steps. Sarah, follow up on creative brief. Due 2024-03-20. Bob, check with legal on claims. Due 2024-03-18. Decisions, none finalized. Open questions. Budget approval timeline. Social media platforms priority. Notice the difference? The second version can be filtered. Show me all meetings with Johnson. Sorted. Show me all my follow-ups due this week. Summarized. How many client meetings this month? Tracked. Did Bob check with legal? Example 2. Email management. Most people treat email as a stream of consciousness. Structured thinkers create systems. Instead of vague subject lines. Before, quick question. After, action needed. Budget approval, Acme Core, due 3/20. Using consistent prefixes. FYI, no action needed. Action needed requires response/work. Decision needed, need approval/choice. Urgent, time sensitive. Now you can filter by type, search effectively, set up automated rules, process email in batches by category. Example 3, project planning. The unstructured approach. We need to launch the new website by summer. John will work on design, Sarah handles content, Mike does development. We'll check in weekly. The structured approach. Project, website redesign. Deadline, 2024-06-30. Phases, 1, design. Owner, John. Due, 2024-04-15. Status in progress. 2. Content. Owner, Sarah. Due, 2024-05-01. Status, not started. Depends on design. 3. Development. Owner, Mike. Due, 2024-06-15. Status, not started. Depends on design, content. 4. Testing. Owner, team. Due 2024-06-25. Status, not started. Depends on development. Milestones. Design approval, 2024-04-20. Content review, 2024-05-10. Staging deploy, 2024-06-10. Launch, 2024-06-30. Status, dashboard with a link. This structure enables automatic deadline tracking, dependency management, workload visualization, progress reporting, risk identification. Example 4, knowledge management. Most companies have tribal knowledge, information that exists only in people's heads or scattered documents. Structured thinking creates documentation systems. Instead of random Word docs in various folders, use structured wiki or knowledge base with fields like a category, like process, policy, guide, template, FAQ. A department field, sales, marketing, engineering, HR, finance. A last updated field with a date. An owner field, person responsible for accuracy. A status field, current, under review, archived. A related articles field with links. Now, how do we handle vendor onboarding? Has a single findable current answer. Example 5, client communication. Unstructured, different salespeople communicate however they want. Structured, communication templates with required elements, like client name. Communication type, like initial outreach, follow-up, proposal, contract, support. A date, a summary, what was discussed or sent. Next action and next action date. Every client interaction is logged consistently. Anyone can see the full history. Nothing falls through the cracks. The mindset shift. Before, let me write this down somewhere. After, where does this information belong in our system and what fields does it need? Before, I'll remember to follow up. After, let me create a task with a due date and assign it. Before, I'll just email this to the team. After, let me update the shared project board so everyone has visibility. Before, I'll save this file somewhere. After, let me use our naming convention and put it in the designated folder. You start asking, what's the structure here? What are the key fields? How will we need to search or filter this later? Who else needs to access this? What's the single source of truth? This isn't being rigid or bureaucratic. It's being intentional about making information usable. Segment 10, becoming fluent in data structures. So how do you develop this structured thinking? How do you become fluent in data structures? Exercise 1, audit your information. Take 1 week and track every piece of information you create, receive, or need. What format is it in? Where does it live? How do you find it later? Who else needs it? You'll quickly see patterns of chaos and opportunities for structure. Exercise 2, identify your data objects. What are the core things you work with? These become your data structures. For a sales team, leads, customers, opportunities, meetings, proposals, contracts. For each object, ask what attributes does it have? What's the life cycle? Lead to opportunity to customer. How does it relate to other objects? What actions can you take on it? Exercise 3. Practice breaking down unstructured information. Take an email or conversation and extract the structure. Email. Hey, our client Acme Corps wants to add 50 more licenses by next month. Can we handle that? Also, they mentioned the renewal might be delayed because of budget freezes. Keep an eye on that. Oh, and their IT director, Steve, is leaving, so we need a new contact. Structured extraction. Object, account update. Client, Acme Corps. Request, add 50 licenses. Timeline, next month, 2024, April. Risk, renewal may be delayed. Reason, budget freeze. Action item, monitor renewal status. Contact change, IT Director Steve leaving. Need new contact. Exercise 4, redesign one process. Pick one recurring task and structure it. Before, send monthly report to management. After, what data sources feed the report? What metrics are always included? What's the format/template? Who receives it and by when? Where is it stored? Create a checklist, template, and calendar reminder. Make it repeatable. Exercise 5. Learn spreadsheet fundamentals. You don't need to be an Excel wizard, but master these basics. 1 row per record, 1 column per attribute. First row should always be headers. No merged cells. No color coding as the only way to convey information. Use data validation for dropdowns. Use formulas instead of manual calculations. Learn basic sorting and filtering. Understand absolute versus relative cell references. Exercise 6. Study good examples. Look at well-designed systems. How does Amazon structure product listings? With title, price, category, rating, specifications, inventory status. How does LinkedIn structure profiles? Name, headline, experience, each with company, title, dates, description. How do project management tools structure tasks? Trello, Asana, etc. Notice the patterns, clear entities, consistent attributes, relationships between objects. Exercise 7. Ask, how would a database store this? When you encounter information, mentally translate it to database structure. Our client Acme Corps, located in Denver, bought 100 licenses on March 1st, 2024 for $50,000. Tables. Clients, with a client ID, a name, and a location. An orders table with order ID, client ID, date, total amount. And an order items table with order ID, product ID, quantity, unit price. Exercise 8. Document your own systems. Create a data dictionary for your work. What are the key terms you use? What do they mean precisely? What's the standardized format? Example for a marketing team. Lead, someone who expressed interest but hasn't been qualified. Status, new, contacted, unresponsive. A prospect, a qualified lead that matches our ideal customer profile. Status, qualified, in discussion, proposal sent. Customer, active, paying client. Status, active, at risk, churned. Now everyone speaks the same language. Exercise 9. Teach someone else. Explain to a colleague why you organize something a certain way. Teaching forces you to articulate your logic and often reveals improvements. Exercise 10. Iterate and improve. Your first structure won't be perfect. That's okay. Use it, see where it breaks, and refine it. Good structure evolves through use. Red flags, you're getting better. You cringe at messy file names. You immediately think, this needs a drop-down. when you see inconsistent entries. You catch yourself restructuring information as you hear it. You start naturally using consistent formatting. You feel visceral pain when someone says, "I'll just email it." You think in fields and relationships. You dream in spreadsheets. Okay, maybe that's too far. The goal. You don't need to become a database administrator. You just need to develop the habit of thinking, what's the structure here and how do I preserve it? This becomes second nature, just like learning to drive. At first you think about every movement, eventually it's automatic. Segment 11, what we can do with structured data. All right, let's talk about the payoff. What becomes possible once your data is structured? 1. Instant reporting. Instead of spending hours compiling a monthly report from various sources, you get click a button. Report generates instantly with current data. Example, sales dashboard that automatically shows revenue by product, region, salesperson, pipeline by stage, conversion rates, year-over-year comparisons, top customers, at-risk renewals. Because all sales data is structured consistently, the report builds itself. 2. Automated workflows. Instead of manually tracking who needs to do what, you get systems that trigger actions automatically. Example, when a deal closes in your CRM, customer record automatically created, welcome email sent, onboarding task list generated and assigned, billing system notified, sales commission calculated, success manager assigned, calendar reminders set for check-ins. All because the data structure makes the workflow unambiguous. 3. Predictive analytics. Instead of guessing based on gut feeling, you get data-driven forecasts. Example, with structured historical data, predict which leads are most likely to convert. Forecast inventory needs based on seasonal patterns. Identify customers at risk of churning. Optimize pricing based on demand patterns. Predict project completion dates based on progress. 4. Personalization at scale. Instead of generic communication to everyone, you get relevant targeted interactions. Example, email campaign using structured customer data. Segment by industry, company size, purchase history. Send different content to each segment. Track open rates, click rates by segment. A/B testing, messaging. Automatically remove unengaged contacts. 5. Compliance and auditability. Instead of scrambling to find records when needed, you get complete searchable history. Example, structured logging. Who accessed what data when? What changes were made to records? Complete communication history with clients. Document version control. Approval workflows with timestamps. Essential for regulations like GDPR, SOC 2, HIPAA. 6. Intelligent search. Instead of, I know I saw that somewhere, you get find anything in seconds. Example, search your structured knowledge base. Find all clients in healthcare industry in California with ARR greater than 100,000 who haven't had a check-in in 60 days. Find all projects with budget overruns in Q3. Find all support tickets related to feature X that took longer than 48 hours to resolve. 7. Cross-system integration. Instead of manually copying data between tools, you get seamless synchronization. Example, your structured data flows. New lead in marketing platform goes to automatically appears in CRM. Deal closed in CRM results in creates customer in billing system. Support ticket in help desk converts to updates customer health score. Time tracked in project tool converts to feeds into invoicing. Number 8, quality control. Instead of errors discovered weeks later, you get real-time validation. Example, structured data with rules. Can't close a deal without all required fields. Budget can't exceed project cap without approval. Can't schedule meetings for past dates. Email must be valid format. Phone numbers must match pattern. Number 9, capacity planning. Instead of overcommitting or underutilizing resources, you get clear visibility into workload. Example, project management system shows Sarah has 60 hours scheduled next week, overloaded. Mike has 25 hours scheduled, available for more. Design team is at 110% capacity in April. Support tickets increasing 15% month over month. Number 10, competitive advantage. Instead of responding slowly because information is scattered, you get faster, smarter decisions. Example, your competitor takes 2 weeks to prepare a proposal because they're gathering information from emails, spreadsheets, and conversations. You click a button, customer history, previous proposals, pricing, availability, and recommendations appear instantly. Proposal out in 2 days. You win the deal. Real story, the power of structure. Imagine a consulting firm with 15 consultants. They track time in spreadsheets, project details in emails, client communications in various places. They implement structured data. Time tracking tool with project ID, client ID, task type, hours, date, billable, yes, no. Project database with client, start date, end date, budget, status, and CRM with all client communications logged. Within 3 months, billing accuracy improved, catching all billable hours. They identified their most profitable project types. They saw which consultants were over/underutilized. They could instantly answer client questions about project status. They forecasted revenue 6 months out with confidence. They raised prices on low margin work. Revenue increased 23% with same number of consultants. Same people, same skills, just structured data. Segment 12. The dark side of structure. I want to be honest about something. Structure can go wrong. Let's talk about the pitfalls. Overstructuring. You can make things so rigid that the structure itself becomes the obstacle. Example, a company required 23 fields to log a customer complaint. Most fields were irrelevant for 90% of complaints. So employees stopped logging complaints properly. Too much work. They started just emailing their manager instead. The structure defeated its own purpose. The solution? Start minimal. Add fields only when you consistently need them. Required fields should actually be required for every instance. Analysis paralysis. Some people spend so much time designing the perfect structure that they never actually implement anything. Example, 6 months debating the ideal project categorization scheme. Meanwhile, projects are tracked in chaotic emails. The solution? Launch with a good enough structure. You can always refine it. Version 1 that exists beats version 10 that doesn't. Zombie processes. Structure that made sense years ago but is now outdated, yet nobody questions it. Example, a monthly report that requires gathering 15 data points. Nobody actually reads 12 of them anymore, but everyone keeps generating the report because that's how we've always done it. The solution, regular audits. Every 6 to 12 months, ask, do we still need this? Does this structure still serve us? Data for data's sake. Collecting information just because you can, not because it's useful. Example, tracking 50 attributes about every lead, but only using 5 for any actual decisions. The solution, for every field, ask, what decision or action does this enable? If there's no good answer, don't collect it. The human element. Structure shouldn't make people feel like cogs in a machine. Example, requiring salespeople to update 10 fields after every call. It feels like surveillance and busy work. They start resenting the system. The solution, involve the people who will use the system in designing it. Explain the why. Show how structure makes their life easier, not harder. The golden mean. Good structure is as simple as possible, but no simpler. Flexible enough for exceptions. Useful to the people maintaining it. Regularly reviewed and improved. A tool that serves people, not a cage that constrains them. Structure is a means, not an end. The goal is better outcomes, not perfect databases. Segment 13, advanced concepts. For those ready to go deeper, let's explore some advanced concepts. Data normalization. This is a database principle, but it applies everywhere. Don't duplicate information. Bad. And I have a table here. The header shows fields of customer name, customer email, order date, order total. And there are 2 records, both with the same customer name, John Smith, the same customer email, john@acme.com, 2 different order dates a month apart, and the order totals are slightly different order amounts. The problem, John's email is stored twice. If he changes his email address, you have to update multiple rows. Good. We should have 2 different tables, a customer table and an orders table. In the customers table, there's a customer ID, a name, and an email with the number 1, John Smith, john@acme.com. And then in the orders table, There are fields for order ID, customer ID, date, and total. The order IDs are 101 and 102. The customer ID in both rows is 1 and 1. And we have the same two dates as before and the same two different total amounts as before. Here we update John's email once in the customers table, and it affects all his orders. 2. Data types matter. Dates should be dates, not text. Numbers should be numbers, not text. True/false should be Boolean, not yes/no text. Why? Because you can sort dates chronologically. You can do math on numbers. You can filter Boolean efficiently. Storage is more efficient. Validation is built in. 3. Hierarchical relationships. Some data naturally nests. Example, company goes to departments, goes to teams, goes to employees. Structure this so you can find all employees in a department, roll up metrics from teams to departments to company, maintain consistent categorization. 4. Many-to-many relationships. Sometimes items relate to multiple other items. For example, projects can have multiple team members, and team members can work on multiple projects. You need a junction table. Projects with a project ID and a name, a team members table with a team member ID and name, and a project assignments table with a project ID, member ID, role, hours per week. 5. Slowly changing dimensions. How do you handle data that changes over time but you need historical accuracy? For example, an employee changes departments, but you need reports to show which department they were in when they worked on past projects. Solution? Version your data or add date ranges. There's a table where the headers are employee ID, name, department, effective date, end date. And we have 2 rows. Both rows have the same employee ID 5. Both rows have the same name, Jane Doe. And the department is different in each row. One is sales, the other marketing. And they both have different effective dates. The first one has an end date when Jane Doe ended being a member of the sales department. And the one where there is no end date yet, it has the value null, N-U-L-L. So there is no end date yet. 6. Data lineage. Tracking where data came from and how it's been transformed. Example, raw sales data from a POS system, cleaned and validated in data pipeline, aggregated in data warehouse, and displayed in dashboard. If a number looks wrong, you can trace it back through each step. 7. Data governance. Who's responsible for what data? Data owner, accountable for accuracy and policy. Data steward, maintains quality day to day. Data consumers use the data, and data producers create the data. Clear roles prevent somebody should fix this, where nobody does. 8. Master data management. For key entities like customers, products, employees, maintain a golden record, the single authoritative version. All systems sync to the master. No conflicts, no duplicates. Number 9. Schema evolution. Your structure will need to change. Plan for it. Can you add fields without breaking existing data? Can you rename fields safely? Can you migrate old data to new structures? Version your schemas. Document changes. Test migrations. Number 10. Data contracts. When system exchange data, define the contract. I will send you a JSON file every night at 2 a.m. with these exact fields in this format. If any field is missing or invalid, reject the file and alert me. Prevents "it worked yesterday, why did it break?" mysteries. These concepts might sound technical, but the principles apply even if you're just using spreadsheets. Don't duplicate information. Use appropriate formats. Understand relationships. Track changes over time. Know who's responsible. Plan for evolution. Segment 14. Practical implementation roadmap. Let's say I've convinced you. You're ready to structure your data. Where do you start? Phase 1. Awareness. Week 1 through 2. Don't change anything yet. Just observe. 1. Map your current state. What data do you work with daily? Where does it live? How do you access it? What frustrates you? 2. Identify pain points. What takes too long? What gets lost? What requires manual work? What causes errors? 3. Find your biggest lever. What one improvement would save the most time? What data is most critical to your work? What's causing the most problems? Start there. Phase 2, quick win, week 3 through 4. Pick one thing and structure it properly. Example projects: client contact list, project tracking, expense management, meeting notes, file organization. Steps: 1. Define your fields. What attributes matter? 2. Choose your tool: spreadsheet, form, database, app. 3. Set up the structure. 4. Document the process. 5. Train the team, or just yourself. 6. Use it religiously for 2 weeks. Phase 3, measurement, week 5 through 6. Track the impact. How much time did this save? How many errors disappeared? What became easier? What did you learn? Share results, build momentum. Phase 4, expansion, month 2 through 3. Now tackle 2 to 3 more areas. Use what you learned. Prioritize high-frequency tasks, multi-person processes, error-prone areas, data that feeds other systems. Phase 5, integration, month 4 through 6. Connect your structured systems. Can your CRM sync with your project tool? Can expenses flow into accounting automatically? Can form submissions create tasks? Start building workflows across structured data. Phase 6, automation, months 6 through 12. Now you're ready to automate. Automated reports, triggered workflows, data validation, notifications and alerts, dashboard creation. Because your data is structured, automation is straightforward. Phase 7, optimization, ongoing. Review what's working, refine what isn't. Eliminate unnecessary fields, add useful ones. Train new team members, document best practices. Tips for success: start small. Don't try to restructure everything at once. One win creates believers. Get buy-in. Show people how structure helps them personally. This saves you 2 hours a week, beats this is best practice. Make it easy. If the structured way is harder than the chaotic way, people won't do it. Lead by example. If you're pushing structure but your own files are a mess, nobody will follow. Celebrate wins. When structure enables something cool, make it visible. We generated that report in 30 seconds because our data is structured. Be patient. Culture change takes time. Habits take time. Data cleanup takes time. This is a marathon. Iterate. Version 1 will be imperfect. That's fine. Improve continuously. Real world timeline. Month 1. First, structured system live. People adjusting. Month 3. 3 to 5 systems structured. Team starting to get it. Month 6. Structure becoming default. Automation starting. Month 12. Can't imagine working the old way. New capabilities emerging. Month 24. Structure is invisible, just how you work, constantly improving. The key? Start today. Not with a massive overhaul, with one small structure that makes your work better. Segment 15. The future of structured data. Let's look ahead. Where is structured data going, and why does it matter for your career? Trend 1. AI as structure enforcer. Right now, AI helps extract structure from unstructured data. Soon, AI will help maintain structure proactively. Imagine, you type an email with project details. AI suggests, should I add this to the project tracker with these fields? Or you're on a call. AI transcribes and automatically suggests structured entries. New action item detected. Sarah to follow up with client by Friday. Add to task list. AI becomes your structuring assistant, not just your analysis assistant. Trend 2, natural language interfaces to structured data. You won't need to learn database query languages or complex filters. You'll say, show me all clients in the Northeast who haven't ordered in 6 months with lifetime value over 50,000. The system understands because the underlying data is structured. It knows what clients, Northeast, orders, and lifetime value mean. This only works if your data is structured in the first place. Trend 3, automated structure creation. Tools are getting smarter about inferring structure. Upload 100 invoices and AI might suggest, I see these fields consistently. Vendor, date, invoice number, amount. Should I create a structured database? But you'll still need to validate and refine. AI could suggest structure, but humans define what matters. Trend 4, real-time data validation. Instead of finding errors later, systems will prevent them immediately. Entering customer data, AI checks. This company name doesn't match our database. Did you mean Acme Corporation instead of Acme Core? Duplicate detection, format correction, and validation happening as you type. Trend 5, hyper-personalization through structure. As more customer data becomes structured, experiences become radically personalized. Every email, interface, recommendation, and interaction tailored to each individual, only possible with structured profiles, behavior data, and preference tracking. Trend 6, augmented decision making. You won't just query your structured data, you'll have AI advisors that continuously monitor it. Based on current pipeline and close rates, you're 15% below quarterly target. I recommend increasing outreach to enterprise segment where your close rate is highest. Here are 12 warm leads to prioritize, all enabled by structured data the AI can analyze. Trend 7, no-code automation for everyone. As data becomes more structured, non-technical people will build sophisticated automations. When a high-value customer submits a support ticket, notify account manager, create priority escalation, and schedule follow-up call. Drag and drop automation builders, but they only work with structured data. Trend 8, predictive workflows. Systems will anticipate what you need. Based on structured patterns, you usually order inventory 3 weeks before peak season. Should I prepare the order draft? Or client engagement scores dropping. Recommended intervention, schedule check-in call, draft email prepared. Trend 9, seamless integration everywhere. Every tool, system, and platform exchanging data effortlessly. Why? Because they all speak the same structured language. Your structured customer data flows to CRM, billing, support, marketing, analytics, reporting, automatically without manual exports and imports. Trend 10, data literacy as core competency. Here's the big one. Data literacy will be as fundamental as reading and writing. In the future, job candidates will be evaluated on data structuring skills. Working with data won't mean being a data scientist. It'll mean understanding structure, quality, and basic analysis. Non-technical roles will require comfort with databases, APIs, and data workflows. Career advancement will correlate with data sophistication. The question won't be, can you use Excel? It'll be, can you design data structures? Can you ensure data quality? Can you orchestrate data flows? Why this matters for you? In a world where AI handles routine tasks, automation eliminates repetitive work, technology does the heavy lifting, what's the human competitive advantage? Understanding what data to structure, how to structure it, and how to orchestrate systems around it. AI can't decide what matters to your business. AI can't define your workflows. AI can't determine what questions you should be asking. Humans who understand data structure become orchestrators, conducting the symphony of tools, systems, and AI to create value. The career divide. In 10 years, there will be 2 types of workers. 1, data consumers. Use systems built by others, follow established processes, react to what they're told. 2, data orchestrators. Design processes, structure information flows, build automations, ask new questions, create competitive advantages. Data orchestrators will be vastly more valuable, not because they code, though some might, but because they think structurally and strategically about information. The skills that matter. Structured thinking, breaking problems into components. System design, understanding how pieces connect. Data modeling, defining what matters and how it relates. Quality focus, ensuring accuracy and consistency. Tool literacy, comfortable learning new platforms. Automation mindset, always asking, could this be automated? These aren't technical skills, they're thinking skills enabled by understanding structure. Your personal roadmap. Start now, not tomorrow, now. 1, structure one thing today. 2, build the habit of thinking structurally. 3, learn one new tool this quarter. 4, automate one process this year. 5, teach someone else what you've learned. In 5 years, you'll be the person others come to for. How should we set this up? Can we automate this? How do we make sense of this data? That's job security. That's career growth. That's becoming indispensable. Segment 16, the philosophy of structure. Before we wrap up, I want to get a bit philosophical. Structure isn't just about efficiency. It's about something deeper. Structure creates freedom. This sounds paradoxical, but it's true. When your data is structured, You're free from manual drudgery. You're free to ask new questions. You're free to experiment. You're free to focus on creative work. You're free from where did I put that? Structure eliminates chaos, and chaos is what traps you. Jazz musicians improvise brilliantly, but they master scales first. The structure of music theory creates freedom to innovate. Same with data. Structure scales human effort. One person with structured data can accomplish what used to take a team. You multiply your impact because systems leverage your decisions. You set up the structure once and it works 10,000 times. Structure enables collaboration. When everyone works within the same structure, communication is clear, handoffs are smoother, knowledge persists beyond individuals, teams move faster. Structure is shared language. It's how we think together. Structure builds institutional knowledge. Unstructured knowledge lives in people's heads. When they leave, it's gone. Structured knowledge persists. It's documentations, systems, and processes that outlive any individual. You're not just doing your job, you're building capacity for everyone who comes after. Structure demands clarity. To structure something, you must understand it. Where should this information go forces you to think about what it means, how it relates, and why it matters. Structure is thinking made visible. Structure reveals truth. Messy data hides problems. Structured data exposes them. Which products aren't selling? Which customers are churning? Which processes take too long? Where are the bottlenecks? You can't fix what you can't see. Structure makes reality visible. Structure is care. When you structure your work, you care about future you who needs to find this information. You care about teammates who depend on your data. You care about customers who benefit from your accuracy. You care about the quality of your work. Sloppy data is careless. Structured data is professional. Structure is strategy. The companies that win don't just work harder, they work smarter. How? Better data, better structure, better systems. Amazon doesn't succeed because they have the most people. They succeed because they have the best data infrastructure. Google doesn't dominate search because they try harder. They have superior data structures for indexing the entire internet. Netflix doesn't guess what you want to watch. They have structured viewing data that powers recommendations. Structure is the hidden competitive advantage. The big picture. We're living through an information revolution. Every year we create more data than all of previous human history. The winners won't be those who create the most data. They'll be those who structure it best. Companies, teams, individuals. The person who can take chaos and create order, who can see patterns, design systems, and orchestrate technology, that person will thrive. That person can be you. Closing. We've covered a lot today. Let's bring it home. The core message: structured data isn't a technical concept for IT departments. It's a fundamental skill for anyone who works with information, which is everyone. It's the difference between chaos and clarity, manual and automated, guessing and knowing, reacting and anticipating. What you should do this week: identify one pain point in your work that stems from unstructured data. Define the structure it needs. What are the key fields? Choose a simple tool, even just a spreadsheet with clear column headers. Set it up and start using it. Commit to consistency for 2 weeks. That's it. Not a massive transformation, just one small structure. What you should do this month: teach someone else what you learned today. Structure 2 to 3 more areas of your work. Document your processes. Make your structure reusable. Look for one automation opportunity now that your data is structured. What you should do this year: become known as the organized one in your workplace. Help your team adopt better data practices. Build a portfolio of structured systems and automations. Share your successes. Become an evangelist for good data. Level up your skills, learning a new tool, take a course, experiment. The vision. Imagine your work life 12 months from now. Reports that used to take hours now take minutes. Information you need appears instantly. Errors have dropped dramatically. You've automated away your least favorite tasks. You spend more time thinking strategically and less time searching for stuff. Your boss notices your increased productivity. Your colleagues ask how you do it. You feel more in control, less stressed. That's not fantasy. That's what structured data enables. The stakes. We're entering an era where technology will do more and more of our work. The people who thrive won't be those who resist technology. They'll be those who orchestrate it, who understand how to organize information so that technology can amplify their impact. Start building that skill today. The invitation. This doesn't have to be overwhelming. You don't need to become a database expert or learn to code. You just need to start seeing the world structurally. When you encounter information, ask, what's the structure here? How could this be organized better? What would make this easier to use? That's all. Just awareness, intention, practice. The rest follows. Final thought. Structured data is power. Not the kind of power that dominates others, the kind that frees you to do your best work. It's the power to find what you need, know what's true, act with confidence, build systems that work, multiply your impact, shape your future. And it starts with a single spreadsheet, a single form, a single decision to bring order to chaos. You've got this. Now go structure something. Thank you for listening to Automate Office Work. If this episode changed how you think about your work, share it with a colleague who needs to hear it. And until next time, happy automating.